Hey there, how's it going? Hope you've had a beautiful Easter weekend. Hope it's been nice and relaxing for you and that you've spent some time with your family. I've been working. That's okay though. All for a purpose. I've actually just finished work this evening. I was going to go for a run tonight, but I've recently realised that I may have misread my marathon training schedule, and turns out that I'm a couple of weeks ahead of where I should be. So yay for me. So not going for a run tonight, as according to the actual schedule on this date, is a rest day. So awesome. I'm going to do a bit of yoga just before heading to bed, just to stretch out my muscles from yesterday. Calves are a little bit sore today, but that's all good. Anyway, what I really wanted to talk about today was something that I've been looking at over my break today, and that's some of the notes that I took at my Foundations of Coaching weekend at the start of February. So I was just looking over these notes and preparing myself because when I get back to Melbourne in a couple of weeks' time, I'm actually going to be going back to the Coaching Institute to do another 2.5 day little course as well. So pretty excited for that. So I was just reading up on some notes, and one of the things that I came across was the 5 steps for decision making. And at the time during the course, it really stood out to me because sometimes I do find it hard to make decisions quickly, and that was actually one of the steps, is to actually make decisions quickly and change your mind slowly. So I just wanted to talk about that this evening on the blog. Hopefully you'll get something out of it, and maybe it speaks to you in some way and maybe helps you to make a decision that you've been putting off for a while. So the first step is to ask yourself the Branson questions. And the Branson questions, of course, Richard Branson, is what's the worst case scenario? From you deciding this, what's the worst case? What is the worst thing that could happen for you either saying yes or no to this situation? And the second part of that, I suppose, of the Branson questions is, if the worst case scenario was to happen, could you handle it? And most of the time, when it really comes down to it, most of the time that answer is, yeah, I probably could handle it, actually, if the worst case scenario happens, which is very unlikely anyway. So I do have my notes just here in front of me, just to go over them with you. So that was the first point, and that just makes that decision really become a no-brainer. Even just those 2 questions just makes it so clear. And then the second one, as I mentioned earlier, was to make decisions really quickly and to change your mind slowly. So most successful people will make the decision very quickly, and if it turns out that it's the wrong decision, then there'll be a lot of thought into the process and changing their mind a little slower. So that was something that really stood out to me because, sometimes I do make decisions quite slowly. The third point of the 5 steps was to be okay with not knowing 100% of the details. You really only need to know 50 to 70% of the information to make that decision. And that's another thing that I struggled with. I often want to know all the details, everything that I can about a certain situation before I make a decision. And I think knowing this is one of the steps. Only having to know 50 to 70% of the information is going to help me make those decisions a lot quickly. Anyway, the next one is to have all of your decisions made with your outcome in mind, especially if you have your own purpose, what you're working towards. It makes it so much easier to make a decision when you have your final outcome in mind when making that decision. And the final one, which is another really great one for me, was to not let your feelings make decisions for you. So if you're feeling, the emotions are running high and you need to make a decision, well, maybe just take a step back and not let those feelings make the decision for you. So those are the 5 steps. I hope you got something out of it, and I hope that it helps you to make a decision that you need to make in the future. See ya.